Okay. All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Business Boot Camp. Yay, for June 29th. We are going to be talking about bridal registries and wish lists and a couple other good things. How many of you have had a customer do a bridal registry before? Show me your hands if you've not, if you've had one, do one. Mona, you haven't? Oh, you have. I was going to say, I thought you had. Bridal registries are like one of my favorite things. I haven't done too many of them. I've done a few of them. But oh my goodness, I always tell people that if they had the Pampered Chef bridal registry when I got married a gazillion years ago, okay, going on 20 years, then could you imagine like what a better wedding, wedding gifts you would have? It would have been such a great experience. And I tell people the benefits of the bridal registry are crazy. They're just, it's like a party, but you have people buying you stuff. It's just the coolest thing. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I always tell people like, I just would have loved to have that kind of, that kind of thing when I got married, because the amount of free stuff I could have gotten, the amount of stuff I could have completed from my registry, I actually would have filled up my kitchen. So that would have been nice. And it would have saved a lot of exchanges. I had to go back and exchange a ton, am I right? A ton of stuff when I got married. And it's funny, this is actually a funny story. I registered for like all these different kinds of glasses. I think like 6 or 7 different kinds of glassware. And when it came around to people buying me gifts, I got all my glassware and like nothing else, because it was like the $8 item or, $16 item, and they could get like 2 of them and boom, done. So I had martini glasses and water glasses and iced tea glasses and just everything. And I'm like, well, that's great. So I had to go and exchange a bunch of stuff. With the Pampered Chef registry, they won't run into those issues because we're there to help them. And if we saw somebody buying a whole bunch of glasses, obviously we don't sell glasses, but one thing, if we saw all of their different kinds of knives but nothing else, we might try to spread the love a little bit and say, well, she might need some cutting boards to go with those knives. You want to think about changing your purchase a little bit. So the personal connection that we give to our customers through the registry is really fantastic. Before I talk about the bridal registry, I want to talk a little bit about the out of stock items, because I know that that's something that is really on a lot of our minds. And how you can handle that, a way to spin it into a positive. Obviously, we're having parties and people are saying stuff that they want to buy, and they might be frustrated that they can't buy it on the party to help their friend out, right? To help their friend raise their sales and things like that. Something that I've started doing is I actually created a very simple Google form. And what it does is it allows people to put on there, I put it in the announcements, and it allows people to let me know that they're looking for something that's out of stock. Very, very simple. It's really just like asks for their main information, and then it asks for what they're looking for, and the item number if possible, if they have that. And then it goes to the next item. So they can fill it out for, I think I have 8 or 10 items on there. And I tell people anytime that they write to me and ask why something isn't available or complain about that, I handle it by telling them, oh, well, if you wouldn't mind, I know it's frustrating, if you wouldn't mind filling this out in the announcements form, or I even like send the link right there, I can let you know when it's back in stock, and I'll give you a discount on it. So I'm thinking like free shipping or something like that. I may give them a little extra something if they book a party at that time when it comes back in. So, that's one way to reach out to them and turn a negative into a positive. They'll get it, but they'll get it for cheaper. And if they book a party from that, their friend is still going to get credit for it, and they're going to get an extra half price item. So yes, it's not counting toward their free stuff, but it's counting toward them getting another half price item, which is a really good benefit. And plus they'll get a little extra something out of it too, a little discount. One thing, so that's been one way, and I'll keep track of that as I go. Another thing that I just found out about, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, I wasn't able to make it to some of the calls last week, so you guys might know it and I didn't. Who knows about the Notify Me feature on the website. Did you guys see that yet? On the website, if you go and try to add an item, or you go into an item that is currently out of stock, it will have a little button at the bottom that says notify me when it's back in stock. And it asks for, and I click through it, and it asks just for your, I think, your name and your email. And I don't know exactly where that goes yet. If we have access to that information, it would be fantastic. And I'll be asking that question. I just found out about that today. But I think that's a really great feature too. I believe that they'll be getting emails related to that when it's back in stock. So that's another tool that you can use and let them know. If you don't want to go through and create a Google form, you can tell them to click on that notify me button. Isn't that cool? So it's just one more way that Pampered Chef is just, they're trying, you know, we got to cut them some slack. They're trying their best. They're trying to let us know as soon as something goes out or comes back in. And they're even, you know, some of the items they're trying to purposely put out, you know, a temporary out of stock on a temporary stop sell on, like the Toy Story items, so that they can stockpile those items and give it to us as a guest special next month. Try to build up some inventory so that they can get them out the door when we need them. So I think that's really cool. So that I call that, I tied that into this talk because I'm calling that my watch list instead of a wish list. You know, it's a watch list when I'm talking to people about that. So I asked them to fill out my watch list survey. So I hope that's helpful. Going to talk about the bridal registries. First of all, if you haven't seen the benefits of the bridal registry, they're kind of mind-blowing, you know. And like I said, when I got married, I got nothing. I got no discount. I got 10% off. I remember this. I got a 10% off coupon to use one day. I think it was in 30 days after my event date, so after my wedding. I had to go in there within 30 days, and I had one day to use this like 10% off pass. And I think like Bed Bath & Beyond has a 20% off completion bonus, that's what they call it, or completion discount. Ours is 10% off for a year, right? Because they're a past host, 10% off for a year. And then they also get all the normal benefits of a party. If you look at the average size of a party, they'll be getting about, I think it's like $165 in free stuff in a normal month, not counting a double host reward or a extra $100 reward like July is. So like $165 in free stuff any given month. They get a bunch of half price items, a bunch of they get a 60% off item. They get up to 30% discount off of anything else that they want to complete their registry with. And any other registry out there, this is what I tell my potential brides, any big box retailer, any department store, anything, any online store is not going to give you that kind of reward. So not only are you getting all of the gifts, but they're building a bunch of free stuff for you. And also the people can shop for themselves for their own kitchen and earn you more products too. So there's nothing else like it. And I get really excited when I talk to somebody when they're getting married, because I think it's so fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want to start off their kitchen with products that will last them forever, and then getting so much stuff for free? I wish Macy's had bought me a blender for free, or or an air fryer, or whatever, anything for free, but they surely didn't. So I had to go buy a bunch of stuff. The way to market this is post it in your parties. I think for a long time I was kind of afraid to post it in my parties about the bridal registry, because I figured I didn't know if my demographic was the young, getting married, just having their first, having their wedding. But yes, there are a lot of my hosts that are in that group, and you just don't know. Again, we don't want to prejudge anyone. We want to put it out there for everyone because it's such a good deal. I don't think you'd hold back in sharing the business opportunity and the awesome deal that the kits are. And you shouldn't hold back with this either. So post it in all of your parties. Put it into your script. Say, do you know somebody who's getting married? Do you have a loved one who's getting married? Do you want to have a bridal shower for somebody who's getting married? And let them know about this amazing registry, you know, this what they can get from this registry. It's fantastic. Really market those benefits of having a bridal shower through Pampered Chef and having the registry through Pampered Chef. Put it in, oh, and actually don't forget about that extra benefit of you. You know, you're a huge benefit to the registries and the wish list, but to the registries especially, because you can provide them some tools. Yes, we do have a checklist, and you should, if you haven't seen the marketing imagery bridal registry checklist, it's out there on marketing imagery. All you have to do is search for registry, and it'll come up. It'll be one of the things that comes up. So it gives you a really great checklist. But more than that, more than just a checklist, what I tell all of my potential brides is that you get me. Like, I will go through your registry and I will see what you're ordering. I will talk to you and find out what kind of cook you are, what kind of cooking you do, or what you plan to do after you get married. And I will make recommendations. I'll tell you, oh, well, you have something here that's also over here in a set. So you might want to, you know, think about taking one of those off, because if somebody buys you both of those, that's something, you know, you didn't get. Another thing to let them know is that you will be there during the shower, during the actual party, to look through all of the orders and make sure they're getting a good balance. You know, make sure there's, if somebody didn't use the registry or didn't link to the registry when they placed their order. I had one just recently that there were like 2 of the apple wedgers. And I was able to catch that and say, oh, well, I put something else in for the same amount of money. So you know, it's a really good thing. They're not going to get that at Target. They're not going to get that at Bed Bath & Beyond. They're not going to have somebody sitting down with them and saying, well, have you thought about this? You know, yes, this cutting board is good, but this cutting board is better. Or, well, how much cutting are you know, do you want this to last, these knives to last for the rest of your life? You might want to consider the forged cutlery instead of the coated, because they have a lifetime warranty. They're meant to last a lifetime. You won't have to replace those. And so that's something that they get from me. We can talk to them about the kind of cooking that they do to let them know what kind of cookware might be best for them. And they're not going to get that from one of the department stores, or, you know, one of the Target or Walmart. True. All right. So make sure you're using the tools that are available to you in marketing imagery. And one way that you can broaden your reach with this idea of a bridal registry, especially when people are starting to plan their weddings and starting to plan their showers. So maybe in sort of that off season around, you know, after Christmas, go to Nextdoor or go to, you know, one of your other neighborhood sites and put up a post about the wedding registry, because there are going to be, what about a local neighborhood wedding site? There's a lot of great places to market the idea of a registry, because people might not know. A lot of people that I talk to don't know that Pampered Chef has that option. Okay, any questions about registries? Have any of you run into any issues or have any questions about how it works? And if you do, just unmute yourself and feel free to jump in. No? All right. We'll move on to wish lists. You know, wish lists are very similar to the registries, but it's more about, instead of telling everybody else what I want for my kitchen, it's keeping track of what I want for myself. So it's very similar. They're set up the same way. And again, you really want to post this in your parties. And a lot of people have been talking recently about the Wish List Wednesday, and I've actually been using that too. And it's a way to get your guests in a party to go and create a wish list. And you might be saying, well, why would we do this? You know, why do we want them to set up a wish list? Basically, it is a way for us to keep up with them. You know, it's a point of contact. It's a thing that we can connect with our guests about. So if they put in our, if they do it through the party or tie it back to us by putting in our name, we can contact them at any point and tell them about, well, even just say, wow, you've got so much great stuff on your registry. You have these items, or I'm sorry, on your wish list. You have these items. Well, did you see this? It really, you know, it looks like you're trying to eat healthier. You've got the, you know, the infusion water bottle on there. You've got, all these great items for eating healthier. Have you seen our veggie spiralizer? That's a really great tool. You can suggest things for them. And another reason is it gives you something, a way to talk to them about the host rewards, about the benefits of hosting their own party. Because if you see somebody has a wish list like this long, they obviously love Pampered Chef, right? There are a lot of things that they want from that website, and they're going through saying, oh, I love this, I love this. That is a great contender for a party. And guess what else? They're a great contender to join your team, right? If they love Pampered Chef that much and have a wish list this long, can't they get it a lot cheaper by joining your team? So definitely don't be afraid to do that. If you have somebody who has one item on their wish list, chances are they probably just did it for the tickets. Or if it's a large item, they were trying to just keep track of it and just make a note that they wanted to have that. But a lot of times it's just for that, if you offer them tickets, if you have one item, it might not say the same thing to you as if they have pages and pages full of stuff that they want. I encourage all of my hosts to do a wish list, and I'm actually going to change the way I'm doing this after listening to a call from Kristen Warenga. She actually has her hosts fill out their wish list as soon as they book the party. And so when she's getting ready to send them the host packet and everything like that, she's also telling them to go ahead and make their wish list, and that gets them excited, and it gets them motivated to have a better party because they see all the things that they want and knowing that they can get it for free or discounted. So I think that's a really great tip to do it even before the party gets started. It also takes away, the time between booking a party and having the party. There's like that lag time, and sometimes you'll lose some of your hosts in that time. But if you're talking to them about their wish list, it is creating that connection during that time too. So I think that's a pretty cool idea. So I'm going to be testing that out. So I'll let you know how it goes. Let's see. So that's how you can use that now. How to use the wish list later. And you can actually do this with registries too, but especially with wish lists, you can actually search for, I can go through, I'm going to see if we have time to go through how exactly we do it. That's something I can also post very easily in the event. So maybe I'll do that in the comments on how to actually link it to a party. I think you were asking how to get them to do it through the party. Connect their wish list. Oh, connect the wish list to the party. Oh, that's super simple. The easiest way to connect a wish list to a party, and the one thing is you have to make sure when you're doing the party that the email address of your host matches the email address that they created the wish list under. If it's different, then you're not going to be able to connect it. The easiest way is when you're on your main parties page, and those three dots where you can click on the three dots next to the name to go straight into the orders. So you can click on the name of the party to go in and edit their information, or you can click on the little three dots over to the right-hand side of the screen, and you can select orders, and it takes you right into the orders. There's an option there to connect wish list, and that's all you have to do. Isn't that cool? That is a super, super simple, after it's created, a super easy way to do that. And I will also post the graphic that I believe Stephanie created it, if I'm not mistaken. But what I've been using in my party, so I think it's from Stephanie Critcher. I don't think she borrowed it from anybody. So I'll go ahead and post that. But again, if you do use a wish list, a graphic, just make sure you change the background or something like that so we don't have any issues. Let's see. So one really cool thing is how you can use this later on. Obviously, you can use it now to say, oh, you can send them a private message and say, thank you so much for creating a wish list. I'm so excited to, that you're excited about this party. Feel free to add to it throughout the party, and you can just get it, talk to them about having their own party based on that. That's how to connect with a person via their wish list right now. To use it later, if you're trying to get some bookings, you can keep an eye on that wish list. And when something pops up, let's say they had the cast iron skillets on their wish list, the cast iron skillet set. You can let them know, obviously in July, with everything being on sale 60% off, they get to pick their own item. You can basically go through your wish list one after the other, find the most expensive thing on their wish list and say, oh, I've noticed, you haven't bought the cast iron skillets yet. To let you know, in July, you can get them for $40 for the set of 2 cast iron skillets. That's only $20 per skillet if you book a party in July. Plus, you'll get this benefit, an extra $100 plus this. And so you can actually go from one wish list to the next and just send them a message. Send them a booking message and say, wow, you can get it for this much money. And I prefer not to say, wow, you can get it for 60% off in July. I prefer to tell them how much it'll be. So if they have a $100 item, tell them it's going to be $40. That's a huge difference. If they have an item that's, $40, do the math, I can't do the math, but whatever, like $15, something like that. Tell them, oh my gosh, you can get this item for $15. And that's nothing. So it can really be a great tool, especially going into a month like July. If we're going into a month where they have a specific item on the host special, so for example, if they do have cast iron skillets and let's say all the cookware, find the item numbers for all of the cookware and then go into the customer reports and run a report that, I'm sorry, not the customer reports, the wish lists. And you can run a report that pulls up all of the wish lists that have those items listed on there and then reach out to those people in the same way. So it really becomes a great tool. I actually did that before. I was really short on parties for for June. I was going on vacation over Memorial Day, the week after Memorial Day, and I really needed some parties. I think I had maybe like 1 or 2 maybe parties booked for June. And I was like kind of freaking out. I was starting to freak out a little bit. So one of the things that I did was I took one of the specials for June was the spices, the whole set of spices. And on the second page of that host special flyer, it listed out all the spices that you get. And so I literally took that whole list and I typed them into that report for the wish list. And then I also typed it into customer order reports to show people who've ordered that before. And I looked to see who was on, who had that on their wish list, the spices, any of the spices on their wish list, and let them know, oh my gosh, you have all these spices on your wish list. Did you know you can get the whole set for, $64? That's a few dollars, like $2.50 each. And again, I did that with my customer, the people that have ordered them in the past. I did it with them too. So you can just use that information to help you reach out to people. And if somebody reached out to you because you had something specific on your wish list and they said, you can get this for, so much cheaper. You can get this $100 item for $40 if you have a party with me. Wouldn't that kind of be impressive, that they reached out to you and they were keeping an eye on your wish list for you? So that's a really great way to use it. That's how a lot of people do use it. And let's see. Oh, and another thing you can use your wish list for is if somebody is looking for a particular item and it's about to go out, you can let them know if it's about to leave the catalog. You can say, I see that you have this on your wish list and we're about to discontinue this item. Is this something that you'd like to order before it disappears? And then, of course, if they say, oh, yes, I'd love to order that, it's something I really wanted, then, of course, you ask them if they'd like to turn it into a party. If it's something that isn't super expensive, maybe you can even say, you know what, how about I'll give it to you for free if you book a party with me. If it's something that's not, that's within your means to do that. So I think that's pretty much all I have. You guys have any questions for me about all of this? I hope it was helpful. I love the idea of the wish list and the registries. Anytime that you can get more information about your customers and give you an opportunity to connect with them in a different way, I'm all for it. It just gives you another place to turn when you're looking to get some parties. And it's a great way to just reach out to them for customer care. So one thing to be careful of with your registries is if people are making purchases or having parties for those people, you do want to make sure that you update their registry and make sure that all of the items that they had purchased for them came off of that list. And similarly, if you're reaching out to somebody because they had cookware or knives or whatever on their wish list, you may want to pull a report that shows everything that that person has ordered to make sure that they didn't already order it and just not connect it to the wish list. So that's kind of a good extra step you could do if you were reaching out to somebody. So did all that make sense? I know I talk fast. I try not to, but it just happens. All right, any other questions?
I do have one. With the wish list and everything, say you have a hostess and you ask them, could you send me a wish list of things that you would like to earn? And then say they have one that's like really, really long, and just go and tell them, hey, you know what? Could you just give me your top 10 of what you would like to really get out of this party? And then I can go in and basically say, okay, with the top 10 that you have here, this is what your goal of sales is for this month. Would that work?
That's such a great idea. I think that's a really great idea. And it really depends on the host and what their wish list looks like. Some people just throw everything in, but the kitchen sink, everything and the kitchen sink in there. And I had a host that actually she did that. She had it wasn't too long. It was very reasonable, but it had some bigger ticket items on there. And I figured out it added up to, I want to say, like almost $800 or something like that. But it was in the month of June. And I said, okay, if you have this size party, it was like $1,700 party. If you have a $1,700 party, you'll get everything on your wish list. And that was like mind blowing to her. And she had she's a really great host, like interacting and stuff. And she had a lot of people in her party, and she was really, it started off as a slower party, but it started picking up, and she went for it. And I said, okay, everybody, we're at like I think we were at 1,000. I said, if she gets to this level and gets everything on her wish list, not only are you, doing her a huge, favor, but I'm going to give out a second grand prize drawing or second final prize drawing.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, and she got there. So, and she got everything on her wish list. Isn't that cool? Like, how neat is that?
I thought that would be just like one of those momentum things. Like, hey, I've got this lofty goal and I want to get to it, and it would be great if you would help me out.
Exactly. I love that, and I love the idea of like the top 10, because a lot of times, there are a lot of items on those wish lists, especially if you're giving them a longer period of time to get one done and not just saying it during the party. Usually right. Usually I would tell them to create their wish list. I think it's on Tuesday and my parties start on Thursday. So it's like my setup day 2. That's what I call it. So it's while we're still setting up the party. But I love that idea of having them pick out like their top, and I sometimes call it like the priority. I say if they have a really big wish list, set it up by A priority, your top items that you really have to have in your kitchen, your B right. you would like to have, and your C where if you had some extra money to spend, you would get them. And so those A's and possibly A and B category would be really great if we could get them everything on their wish list. Like, how happy was that host that got everything on her wish list? Yeah,
really satisfied.
Yeah, I'd say, and she raved about it to all of her friends. So I got a lot of bookings from that party too.
Now, what were the 3 levels that you said? The A, B, and C again?
Yeah, that's what I called it. And that came from when I was having my own party before I started selling it. And I was trying to decide what to get, and I split it up. The A is the stuff you have to have in your kitchen right now. The B is the stuff that you really want in your kitchen, but it's not right. like that. Have to get this in my kitchen. Like if my garlic press broke or my pizza stone broke, well, that's an A for me. Exactly. And then the C's would be, okay, if I had everything on list A and B and I still had some money to spend, then I would get those. it would be, and you could call that it would be nice to have in my kitchen. The have to have, the really want to have, and it would be nice to have. So.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions or ideas that you want to share? Things you've done with wish lists or registries? I really encourage you to go out into your community and do some vendor events when they start having bridal shows again, and go sign up. My first vendor event was when I sold Pampered Chef, 10 years ago, and I actually did it with Miriam. And it gave me a whole bunch of people to reach out to. I wish I had known how to use them a little bit more than like I would now, but it gives you people outside of your circle to reach out to, and you can talk to people about that registry because it's just unlike anything else. So, and people love Pampered Chef and know it's going to be with them for a lifetime. So that's helpful too. Anything else? Anybody else want to share? All right. Well, I guess we'll close it out because we're right from when we started. We're right at 30 minutes. So I appreciate you all being here, and enjoy the rest of your June. Kill it this June and go into July really strong. And let's just keep this momentum going. It's a fantastic time to do what we do, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
Candice, I'll see all you guys that are going to be in Nashville. I'm headed there tonight at 9:30.
You are? I didn't know you were coming.
I'm coming to see my grandkids, but just so happens to be Pampered Chef too.
You're
Mona,
going to be
are you still coming?
Michelle, are you going to be there for conference?
Yeah.
Yay! I am too.
Yay! Who else? Is anybody else coming to conference?
Me and my blow up bed and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie, I wish you would. One of these days, are you watching it with the others, Jackie?
No, I think I'm gonna. I would be down at camp with them all,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna come home, and then because of Mom, and then. But I might have Mary Ann come over because I have it. So
okay. Good.
Rocky's gonna set the computer up to the TV, so I got a big screen.
Oh,
so,
nice. Very
but I
nice.
wish I could be with you guys.
I know.
I would have loved
that.
that.
Next year in Chicago.
I feel like if I can come all the way from here, that anybody on the mainland should have been able to. No, I'm just kidding. It's a.
I would have. I've just had a tough week. Heather knows.
Heather,
I'm
that
coming
sounded
tonight.
like
I leave tonight and don't get to Tennessee until tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon. So it's a really long trip.
Michelle, you have to see your grandbabies, but Jackie, you could see me. It's kind of the same thing, right?
That's true. And I'd like to meet Ramona.
Yes. Oh man, next year for sure. All right, everybody. Sorry for taking.
it sounded like Passover, Heather. Next year in Chicago.
Yeah, next year in Chicago instead of next year in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right, have a great night, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Great trip.